Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up, because what went down in that courtroom today makes every rap beef, every diss track, every shady Instagram post look like a kindergarten talent show. We're talking about Lil Durk. Yes, mister, I'm just here to make music and mind my business, losing his composure so hard in front of the judge that even the stenographer had to pause and clutch her pearls. And why? Because out of nowhere, a so-called secret witness strutted into that courtroom and dropped a bombshell so big, you could feel the temperature in a room drop 10 degrees. Now, let's be real, this isn't just some random, he said. She said drama. This is a name drop, mic drop, nuclear-level accusation. Durk's own brother allegedly playing mastermind in King Von's murder plot. Let that sink in. Imagine thinking you've seen all the plot twists, and then someone pulls a your own blood set you up card. And the way this witness delivered it? Oh, honey, they didn't just tell the court, they performed it. Think Oscar-level monologue meets reality TV confession. Cameras weren't even allowed. But trust me, the gossip mill is already grinding like it's powered by Red Bull. So picture this. The courtroom's packed tighter than a sneaker drop at midnight. Reporters, bloggers, TikTok conspiracy theorists, all crammed shoulder to shoulder, hoping for that one golden soundbite that'll break the internet. And at the center of it all, Lil Durk, trying to keep his composure while the walls of his world start caving in. Now, if you've been following this saga, you know this isn't Durk's first time tap dancing around controversy. From the street beefs that never seem to die, to the legal battles that pop up like bad sequels, the man's name has been linked to enough drama to make a Netflix series. But today hit different. This wasn't a diss track or an IG live rant. This was a real thing. Sworn testimony under oath. The star of the show? An anonymous witness who, for weeks, the prosecution swore up and down could change the entire trajectory of the Vaughn murder case. And when they finally walked in, rocking sunglasses like they were auditioning for a spy movie, you could feel the tension spike. Even the bailiff looked like he wanted popcorn. The prosecution didn't waste time. They launched into their questions like they'd been waiting their whole careers for this. And then, boom, out came the allegation. Durk's own brother wasn't just tangentially involved in Vaughn's death, he allegedly orchestrated it. We're talking mastermind levels here. Now, for anyone who's new to the messy, tangled web of Chicago rap politics, let me break this down. King Von wasn't just another name in a rap game. He was a name in the streets. Durk's right-hand man. The guy you'd see in almost every video, every backstage photo. Their bond? Publicly unshakable. Privately? Well, apparently, that's another story entirely. And this witness wasn't shy about painting that picture. They claimed on record that Durk's brother had been pulling strings for weeks leading up to the night Vaughn was killed. That the beef that boiled over wasn't spontaneous. It was calculated. According to them, certain people were moved like chess pieces to make sure Vaughn didn't leave that night alive. Cue the collective gasp. Durk's reaction? Oh, it was priceless. He went from cool, calculated, I've been here before, to what did you just say about my family? In a matter of seconds. And that's when the judge had to bang the gavel and remind everyone that this wasn't a Verzeus battle. But let's rewind for a second, because to understand just how insane this is, we need to revisit the history. See, Durk's brother, known in the streets for keeping a low profile, was always that quiet but connected type. Not flashy, not out here chasing clout, but if you know, you know, the type who could make a phone call and make problems disappear or appear. Over the years, whispers about his dealings floated around, but nothing ever stuck. And in Chicago, that's saying something. Now, couple that with Vaughn's meteoric rise. Charting songs, millions of streams, interviews where he's grinning ear to ear but still throwing subtle shots at rivals. And you got a powder keg just waiting for a spark. And according to this witness, the spark wasn't just some random beef at a club. No. They painted a picture of meetings, late night calls, and coded messages exchanged in the days before Vaughn's death. All pointing back to, you guessed it, Durk's brother. The prosecution loved every second of it. The defense? Not so much. Durk's legal team tried to object, calling the whole thing speculative hearsay. But the judge allowed it, and that's when things went from spicy to downright nuclear. Because then came the receipts, or at least what the witness claimed were receipts. They spoke about cash transactions, burner phones, even unmarked cars spotted near the scene hours before the incident. Every word dripped with the kind of detail you just can't fake unless you were there or you've been reading the group chat. And here's where the internet comes in. While this courtroom drama was unfolding, Twitter was doing what Twitter does best, going absolutely feral. Hashtags like hashtag Durk Meltdown and hashtag Vaughn Setup were trending within the hour. Memes flooded timelines. Everything from edited Family Feud clips with Durk's face photoshopped in to side-by-side images of the witness and famous movie snitches. Of course, not everyone was buying it. Durk's diehard fans, self-proclaimed OTF Till I Die loyalists, were flooding comment sections with fake news, accusations, and theories about paid witnesses. Some even suggested this was an elaborate smear campaign orchestrated by rival camps to dismantle OTF's influence. But if this was fake, it was an Oscar-worthy performance. The witnesses' tone never wavered, their story never faltered, and their eyes, dead serious. And here's where it gets even messier. As the witness detailed events leading up to that night, they casually mentioned a mystery meeting that allegedly took place between Durk's brother and a known associate of a rival crew. The prosecution jumped on that like it was a gift from the content gods, hinting at a possible alliance that could have shifted the entire balance of power in the Chicago rap scene. Now, let's be real, alliances in this game aren't new. Enemies become friends, friends become enemies, and sometimes you can't even keep track without a flow chart. But the idea that someone from inside Durk's camp could be playing both sides, that's the kind of betrayal that doesn't just hurt your feelings. It ends careers. By now, Durk was visibly fuming. His lawyers kept whispering to him, trying to calm him down, but his body language said it all. Jaw clenched, eyes narrowed, hands gripping the table like he was physically holding himself back from jumping up. The judge called for a short recess, probably hoping to defuse the tension. But all that did was give the media vultures in the hallway a chance to circle. Within minutes, headlines were popping up online. Secret witness torches Durk's brother in court. Durk's explosive reaction to Vaughn murder allegations. OTF empire on the brink. And let me tell you, if you thought things couldn't get more chaotic, you clearly don't understand how the saga works. Because when court resumed, the prosecution wasn't done. Not even close. They leaned in, eyes locked on the witness, and asked a question that made the whole room lean forward. Can you confirm that on the night of the incident, you personally saw Durk's brother give the order? The witness took a deep breath. The room went silent. You could hear the faint hum of the fluorescent lights. And then, with the kind of dramatic pause that would make a Hollywood director jealous, the witness leaned forward, adjusted those oversized sunglasses, and dropped the words that sent a chill through the courtroom. Yes, I saw it with my own eyes. Gasps, whispers, the sound of a pen clattering to the floor. Even the court reporter froze for a split second, as if unsure whether she just transcribed the opening line of a crime thriller or a piece of courtroom history. The prosecution didn't waste a beat. Can you describe exactly what happened? They asked, their voice dripping with the kind of satisfaction you only hear when someone knows they've landed a knockout punch. The witness obliged. Oh, did they ever? They painted a scene like they were narrating in Netflix docuseries. A dimly lit back alley behind a club, Durk's brother stepping out of a black SUV, a hushed exchange with two men whose faces were obscured by hoodies, and then, clear as day, the chilling instruction, make sure he doesn't leave breathing. Let me repeat that for the folks in the cheap seats. Make sure he doesn't leave breathing. The room erupted. People who'd been sitting there pretending to be neutral observers suddenly had their hands over their mouths. One woman clutched her pearls so dramatically you'd think she was auditioning for a soap opera. The defense team immediately objected, calling the statement an outrageous fabrication. But the damage was already done. Now, this is where things went from courtroom drama to full-blown internet circus. Because while the defense was scrambling to repair the narrative, the rest of the world was eating it up like it was the season finale of a hit show. Within minutes, Twitter was ablaze with exclusive commentary from self-proclaimed insiders. Some were posting blurry photos allegedly showing Durk's brother in the exact SUV described by the witness. Others were digging up old lyrics, claiming they were confessions hidden in plain sight. One viral tweet read, "Y'all remember when Durk rapped, 'Somebody close gon' fold, I feel it'? Bro been telling us." Another, "If this witness ain't lying, OTF's about to stand for out the frame." But hold on, because here's where it gets even wilder. Midway through the testimony, the witness revealed they'd been contacted by an unknown party just days before taking stand. The message? Don't show up. The reward? $250,000 in cash, delivered in a duffel bag. The prosecution's eyes practically lit up like Christmas trees. They hinted, loudly, that this could point to witness tampering, which, if proven, would open up a whole new set of legal nightmares for anyone connected to it. The defense? They claim it was pure fantasy, but you could see the unease in their faces. Meanwhile, the public reaction was spiraling. Instagram lives, YouTube reaction videos, TikTok breakdowns. Everyone was milking this for content. One TikToker even staged a dramatic reenactment of the alleged SUV meeting using action figures, complete with moody lighting and a miniature gavel sound effect at the end. And of course, the memes kept coming. My personal favorite? A Photoshop movie poster reading Fast and Furious. The OTF Drift, featuring Durk's brother behind the wheel of the now infamous SUV. Back in the courtroom, the prosecution decided to push the envelope. They asked the witness if they'd ever heard anything similar from Durk himself. That's when the room collectively inhaled, because this was a question that could blow the case wide open. The witness hesitated for just a moment, long enough to make the entire defense team shift uncomfortably, and then said, "Let's just say he knew more than he's letting on." Boom! The kind of vague but deadly statement that makes headlines and haunts reputations forever. No direct accusation, but enough innuendo to have people connecting dots that may or may not even exist. This is where the sarcasm kicks in, because you'd think Durk's PR team would have prepared him for moments like this. Instead, the man reacted like someone had just told him McDonald's stopped serving fries. He leaned back, shook his head, and muttered something under his breath that the microphones couldn't quite catch, but the internet later decided this is all cap. And here's where the conspiracy machine went into overdrive, because within an hour of court adjourning for lunch, a mysterious leaked audio started making the rounds online. Supposedly recorded in a holding cell weeks earlier, it allegedly featured two voices, one of which people claim belongs to Durk's brother, talking about cleaning up the mess. Now, is the audio legit? Who knows? But in the court of public opinion, that's not the point. The idea of it was enough to set social media ablaze. People were splicing it into videos, slowing it down, adding captions like, "This is a part where he says, make it look random." And let's not forget the experts. Suddenly, every YouTube true crime channel and Twitter thread writer was a forensic audio analyst. One guy even claimed he'd run the clip through AI-enhanced waveform isolation, whatever that means, and confirm it was a 98% match to Durk's brother's voice. Sure, buddy. By the time court resumed, the atmosphere was electric. The defense came out swinging, grilling the witness on every detail, trying to poke holes in their story. Where exactly was this SUV parked? What kind of hoodie was the man wearing? How could they hear the alleged order over the noise of the street? The witness didn't flinch. They answered every question like they'd been rehearsing for months. And that's when they dropped another mini-bomb. There was supposedly video footage, yes, video, of the meeting, but it was in the possession of someone who didn't want to get involved yet. If you thought the prosecutors were excited before, this was their jackpot moment. They hinted that they were in active talks to secure this footage, which would allegedly corroborate the sequence of events described by the witness. The defense's faces? Somewhere between, "Oh no," and "We need a drink." And just when you thought it couldn't escalate further, the witness said one more thing that sent the gallery into chaos. "If I disappear after this, you know why." Court security immediately stepped up, escorting the witness out under heavy guard. It was a perfect reality TV exit. Sunglasses still on, no looking back. Durk? He just sat there, staring straight ahead, the kind of stare that says you're either plotting your next move or replaying the worst day of your life in your head. As the judge called for the day's final recess, whispers filled the room. People weren't just asking what happens next. They were asking if OTF could survive this at all. And here's the kicker. Outside the courthouse, a crowd had gathered. Some were holding "Free Durk" signs. Others were literally chanting, "We want the footage." The media vans were parked like sharks, and every camera lens was pointed at that front door, waiting for anyone, to make a statement. But the only statement made was by a single blacked-out SUV pulling away from a curb. The same make and model as the one described in court. Coincidence? Or the universe just flexing its sense of humor? Either way, what happened next? Well, that's where this story really takes a turn. Either way, what happened next didn't just light a fire on the case. It turned into a full-blown inferno, because within hours of that blacked-out SUV rolling away, the rumor mill started grinding at maximum speed. Word on the street? The mystery footage the witness mentioned wasn't just real. It was already in the hands of someone with enough connections to make sure it saw the light of day at the perfect time. And by perfect, I mean the most damaging, reputation-shattering, career-ending moment possible. While Durk's legal team huddled in some back room like NFL coaches during halftime, the outside world was already treating this case like the Super Bowl. News outlets, both legitimate and the kind that barely qualify as blogs, were pumping out exclusive updates every 30 seconds. YouTube thumbnails screamed in all caps, "Vaughn murder footage?" complete with red circles, arrows, and blurry screenshots of God knows what. But here's where the fallout got really ugly. A source close to the investigation, which in this game could mean literally anyone with a Wi-Fi connection, told a gossip site that federal agencies had started sniffing around the case. Supposedly, they were interested in whether this alleged setup crossed state lines, which would instantly elevate into federal crime territory. You could practically hear Durk's lawyers groaning from across the city. Meanwhile, whispers started swirling about financial irregularities tied to Durk's camp. Big wire transfers, unexplained cash deposits, even the sudden purchase of a luxury penthouse under a shell company. Was it true? Who knows? Did people care about proof? Absolutely not. The story was too juicy to fact-check. And of course, in true internet fashion, this financial drama became a meme in itself. One viral TikTok showed a Monopoly board with all the properties replaced by Chicago neighborhoods, and chance cards reading things like, "Witness got paid. Go directly to jail." But the legal side wasn't laughing. Behind closed doors, prosecutors were reportedly weighing whether to file additional charges. Witness intimidation, conspiracy, even obstruction of justice. And if they could tie any of it back to Durk's brother, it would be open season. That's when the dominoes really started to wobble. Because once the feds start poking around, people who've been loyal for years suddenly remember they've got a future to protect. The phrase "cooperating witness" started popping up in articles, and while no names were attached, everyone had their theories. And trust me, these theories got dark. One particularly wild thread claimed that not only did Durk's brother allegedly plan the hit, but that Vaughn himself had discovered the betrayal before that night. According to this unverified novella, Vaughn had been preparing to confront him, maybe even cut ties with OTF entirely. Whether that's truth, fiction, or just internet fanfic, the fact people were even entertaining it shows how deep the distrust had burrowed. And then came the street reaction. In certain Chicago circles, the talk wasn't about court dates or legal strategies. It was about street code. People wanted to know, if the allegations were true, how could Durk possibly move forward? How do you rebuild trust when your own family is accused of orchestrating your best friend's murder? In the rap world, where loyalty isn't just currency, it's survival, that kind of stain doesn't wash out. But here's the twist. For every person ready to turn their back on Durk, there was someone doubling down in his defense. His most die-hard supporters argued that this was a calculated takedown, orchestrated by rivals who couldn't beat OTF on the charts. So they went for the courtroom instead. They flooded social media with hashtag #WeStandWithDurk hashtags, posting old pictures of him and Vaughn smiling together as proof that the bond was unbreakable. The truth? At this point, nobody knew what to believe. And that uncertainty, that constant push and pull between loyalty and betrayal, was gasoline on the fire. Meanwhile, the witness vanished. Poof. After their dramatic exit under heavy guard, they didn't show up in public again. No interviews, no leaks, not even a cryptic post on social media. which only made people talk more. Was this witness under protection? Or had they been persuaded to go silent? Then, just when it seemed like things might cool down, another bombshell dropped. A leaked court document, allegedly authentic, claiming prosecutors had secured a sealed indictment against an unnamed member of the defendant's family. The internet didn't need much imagination to figure out who that probably meant. Overnight, speculation went into overdrive. News outlets framed it as the beginning of the end for OTF, while fan accounts swore this was all smoke and no fire. Durk himself remained silent, posting nothing on socials except a single black screen on Instagram stories. No caption, no context, just pure ominous energy. And let me tell you, if you wanted a symbol of where the saga stands, that black screen was it. Tense, empty, and hinting at a storm just over the horizon. In the days that followed, talk of potential plea deals began surfacing. If they offered the brother a reduced sentence for flipping on bigger names, will he take it? One gossip blog asked. Another site claimed, without a shred of evidence, that the brother had already been moved to a different facility for security reasons. Fans began drawing parallels to other famous betrayals in hip-hop history. Tupac and Biggie, Jay-Z and Dame Dash. Heck, even Drake and Kanye got thrown into the mix, because why not? If there's one thing the internet loves, it's forcing unrelated comparisons for clout. By this point, the legal analysts had their hands full. Every news segment seemed to feature at least one expert, predicting doom for Durk's career. Sponsorship deals? Likely frozen. Tours? In jeopardy. Album releases? Potentially delayed indefinitely. And yet, for all the chaos, there was still that nagging possibility. What if the witness was lying? What if all of this was an elaborate setup designed to fracture OTF from the inside out? Without that mystery footage, everything hinged on credibility. And in this game, credibility can vanish overnight. Which brings us to the cliffhanger nobody saw coming. Late one night, a short, grainy clip surfaced online. Just 12 seconds long. The quality was awful, blurry, muffled audio, but the internet swore it was the beginning of the meeting described by the witness. You could barely make out figures in the frame, but the silhouette of one man stepping out of a dark SUV looked familiar. The clip ended before anything incriminating was said, but that didn't matter. It was enough to send timelines into another frenzy. Was it real? Was it staged? Was it leaked by the someone who supposedly held the full video? Nobody knew. But one thing was certain. This case had officially moved beyond the courtroom. It was now a public spectacle, a battle for narrative dominance where every rumor was a weapon. And as the world waits for the next move, whether it's an arrest, an acquittal, or the sudden appearance of that full footage, one question hangs over everything. If the accusations are true, and Durk's brother really played puppet master in Vaughn's murder, what does that mean for the man who built OTF on the promise of loyalty above all else? You just heard the latest jaw-dropping twist. But trust me, this is only the tip of the iceberg. What's really going on behind the scenes is bigger, messier, and more explosive than anyone is ready to admit. And here at Celebrity Press, we don't just report the gossip. We spill every last drop. If you felt that rush in your chest when the truth started unraveling, that's because you're witnessing real celebrity history unfold in real time. And you know how this works. The deeper we dig, the more skeletons come crashing out of the closet. These stories don't just vanish. They mutate, twist, and turn into something no one could have predicted. That's why you cannot afford to miss what's next. So here's what I need you to do. Smash that like button so this truth gets out to everyone who needs to see it. Hit that subscribe button so you're always first in line when the next piece of this puzzle drops. And turn on your notifications, because one single missed upload could mean missing the clue that changes everything. Remember, Celebrity Press is the only place where the whispers in the shadows become front-page revelations. We take the secrets they try to bury and shine the brightest light possible on them. And we're not slowing down. So join the family of truth seekers, rumor busters, and story chasers who refuse to be left in the dark. Because the next headline is going to break the internet. And you'll want to say you heard it here first. Stay ready, stay watching, and stay tuned. Because here at Celebrity Press, the tea never stops spilling. If you want, I can now make a spicier, even more dramatic version of this for maximum retention.